All right, so what we're looking at today are called polynomials, and they're going to make up, I got mostly a lot of your algebra too, but anyway, polynomials, and we're going to look at monomials, and we're going to look at binomials, and we're going to look at trinomials. Ugh, that'll work. Now, all of these things, all right, monomials, binomials, and trinomials, those are examples of polynomials. Now, I guess let's start with the simplest one, the monomial. Mono means one. You'll know what I mean here in a little bit when I say one of what. But so a polynomial, a monomial, they're made up of, it's an algebraic expression. So they're made up of, variables and the numbers that are attached to variables called coefficients. So that's your coefficient. If I can spell it right. There we go. Oh, that's cool. Make it like a little heart look right there. Little heart. Anyway, this is a coefficient, and whenever it's attached to variables, that makes up a monomial. All right. Notice there's only one thing here. Now, these monomials, an important feature here, are the exponents. So this one has an exponent of 1, and this one I'll give an exponent of 2. The important feature about them is that those exponents are positive. If they were negative, it would cease. It would no longer be a monomial. It would no longer be a polynomial. It's something else. So let's say you made up 3x to the negative 4. This was not a polynomial because it had a negative exponent. Or if the variable itself is in the denominator, that is not a polynomial, not a monomial. And the reason why is because the variable itself is in the denominator. All right. Now that's a monomial, which is an example of a polynomial. But if you take two monomials, so let's say 2x squared and x to the third power, if you take those and you add or subtract them, this is considered a binomial. And the reason it's considered a binomial is because it has two pieces. This piece and this piece, these are called terms. Ooh, not turns. There you go. It's got two terms, and this is an example of a binomial. Now this one we had up here, the 2x squared y to the first, that was considered a monomial because it only had one term. There's no plus or minuses. So that's a binomial, and I'm sure you can guess what a trinomial is by now. A trinomial is something that has three terms. So let's say x squared minus 4x plus 5. You got 1, 2, 3 terms. Now you'll notice this third term, this last term, doesn't have a variable. And that's sort of true. It technically does have a variable, but you can't see it. All right, so this is to the second power, right? This one's to the first power. This last term is like x to the 0 power. All right, even though you can't see it, it's technically there, and we consider it, we accept it. I don't know if you remember this from like 8th grade or whenever y'all learn it now, but if you have anything, whether it's x to the 0 or 5 to the 0, any of those things are equal to 1. That's why it's fair. It's okay to call this 5x to the 0. All right? So you got 3 terms, trinomial. So trinomial, 3 terms, binomial, 2 terms, monomial, 1 term. All of these are examples of polynomials. So when you string a bunch of monomials together, you get a polynomial. And that's really all we've got for today. So see you next time.